If we're looking from a $2 to $5 million budget, we're looking at mid-sized jets because of the range on them, because of the cabin size, and because of the ability of a charter company to charter it out at a competitive rate so that everybody's making money. If we go to the light jets, you can get something newer, maybe something a little nicer, but the margins aren't there. If you're going to the heavy jets, now we're big bucks, and the margins aren't quite there. Mid-size are a good sweet spot. Within the mid-size, in that $2 to $5 million range, let's take a look at some of the makes and models that we're going to be looking at. For me, in terms of reliability, in terms of their name, in terms of their reputation, I like the Citations. I'm just kind of a Textron guy. I like the Cessna Citations, the Citation line, whether it's an XL, XLS, XLS Plus, maybe a Sovereign in there. Even though it's a little bit bigger. I like they're kind of like the Apple, if you will. I don't know if you're a tech guy or not, but even just from a phone, like they just work. They're just kind of an industry standard. Now you're going to pay a premium for that, so they're going to be probably. Yeah, exactly. Right. So you're going to pay a premium for that product. So let's say we're looking at like $4 million, roughly XL, XLS, $4 million. From there. We take I don't want to say a step down, but another move could be your Hawkers, which is great for charter companies. They are big-bodied. They perform better than the Citations. They're going to have more range. They're going to have a bigger body, so the cabin's going to feel bigger, more luxurious. And they have a fantastic maintenance schedule that suits charter. So they're workhorses. You can run them hard. They can generate good revenue for you on the charter side. The problem is, they've kind of been picked over right now in the market, so finding one can be a challenge. But again, the acquisition cost isn't going to quite be as much. Then at the same time, we're talking for the Hawkers, we're talking, 2.5 to 3.5, 4 million, depending on how new of a Hawker you want to get. But the Citations, 3.5, like just wrap your head around 3.5, 4.5. Hawkers. 3 to 3.5 for a decent one. So now, if we want to talk speed, we start looking at the Lears. They're kind of, I want to say up and coming because obviously they're old. Like all these are older, right? But, if we're not going to get a Hawker because they're picked over, we're not going to get a Citation because I don't want to pay the premium for a mid-sized jet. Let's take a look at the Lear 60s. Fast, great cabin size, but now we start to bump up against how readily available they are in the market, although they're more available than most right now. We're going to bump up into downtime. What's their dispatch percentage? Are they reliable? And if they break down, do we have parts availability? Do we have pilot availability? As we're kind of going through these different makes and models, these questions become more and more, apparent. And so, yes, you can get into a Lear 60. There's one off market right now, I think is $2 million or low twos. Right. A decent one we can also get on programs 2.5, 2.8. So now we're kind of, below that $3 million threshold. But you have to ask, are we going to have the pilot availability? Are we going to have the parts availability? And then if we want to get a little bit older, now we start looking at the Falcons, Falcon 50s, $2 million, $3 million range, That's kind of what we're talking about. And it all really comes down to this idea of who's your business partner. Because there are guys making money on Citations, there's guys making money on Falcon 50s, there's operators making money for everything in between. I mean, you can make money on a Vision jet if you have the right operator. And so that's where I come in to introduce you to different operators. And just so you know, the process, kind of how it looks. So you and I talk. I help you wrap your head around this idea of what it looks like, and then we say, okay, I want to learn more. Let's go talk to some operators. So then I introduce you to a couple of operators that I work with, and they're all in these different markets. You'll talk to a Citation guy, a Falcon guy, a Lear and a Hawker guy. Figure out which business partner makes sense for you. Have 2-3 conversations with them, and then at that point in time, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to say to you, hey, Kevin, is this still the play that you want to do? Is this the move you want to go? And if you're like, yes, I like what I heard, I'm going to pick, operator B. Great. Here's my agreement. Okay, it's a $100,000 acquisition fee. It's 5% down.
Yeah.
So you put me on retainer, and now I work in collaboration with the operator that you chose. We go find a jet. They're going to get a piece of that commission. We go find the jet. They will do the pre-buy for you and do their due diligence to make sure it's a good fit for their business as well.
The operator will do that.
Yep.
The acquisition.
Yep. Myself and the operator will collaborate in that whole process. We'll negotiate the purchase price. We'll go through the pre-buy. We'll negotiate fixing the squawks, and then we close. And that's when the rest of my commission is due. And then you'll need a couple weeks for them to put it on the certificate, go through some testing that they need to do. And so right now you're at the perfect time. Right here as we sit in June, I mean, we're looking at, if you signed up, let's say you signed up, tomorrow, we're probably, let's say 30 days, 60 days to find an operator that you like to work with. Another 30 to 60 to find the right aircraft. Another 30 to 60 to do the pre-buy and negotiate. And then another, 30 to 45 for the conformity. So you're right now in the sweet spot to start the process so that by the time we get to the fourth quarter, depending on the jet that you want to get, we could be operational. Right. So now you've got your write-off and you're starting to generate income.